Hello friends, it's Mary and you're watching Rocky Mountain Gardens. Today I am going to be working on a project for after Christmas. And I want you to know that I'm going to be doing a video series about decorating your home for the winter using a winter theme. And I think you'll enjoy it because I think I've mentioned in another earlier video that it's a very sad time of year when you take down those Christmas decorations. And although mine are still up at the moment, they're going to be coming down, of course, after Christmas, but not rushing things. Anyway, in the meantime, the project I'm doing today is going to be making a sign for my mantle for my winter theme. And I wanted to share with you that I got this chalkboard piece in the after fall sales at Michael's, and it was a $35 piece right here. It also was on sale for 80% off, so I paid $7 for it. Very good deal. And I always recommend that you shop those after season sales because they're fantastic. You have to be a little bit patient and watch as things get taken and the prices go down, but boy, it's really worth it if you do. So let me show you a little bit close up this, and you'll see that it has a gold trim and the white is a little bit distressed, and I don't want this gold because to me silver is winter is winter is a silver color, silver and white and blues, just like the snow. So I'm going to go ahead. My first step in this project is going to be painting this with a white chalk paint that I got, and we'll get started on that in just a minute.
Here you can see the blue painter's tape that I used to protect my chalkboard. And then here's my Waverly chalk paint. It is a white, pure white color because I wanted it to be very bright. And then I have a chip brush. This is a 1/2 inch chip brush. They are very inexpensive. You can find them at Walmart, for example. And as I started painting with this Waverly paint, I was really pleased because it did such a great job of covering, especially that metallic gold that you see here. And of course, I was very careful to make sure I got in all the crevices in that gold design to make sure they were covered thoroughly. But very happy results here with the Waverly paint. I did not have to do 2 coats. That was wonderful.
One of my next steps after painting will be to apply these letters with a sentiment that I'm planning to have on my winter sign. But these are kind of plain styled letters, so I'm going to add a little something special to make it look more unusual, not the same old sign. So what I did is I created this pom-pom from a skein of yarn that I had, and I've had this sitting in my craft room forever. And so today I'm using it to make 2 pom-poms for my sign. And I wanted to show you how I did this. You know, there are lots of different little gadgets that you can purchase to make pom-poms with, but honestly, you really don't need anything but your hand. And using your hand, and I am making a smaller pom-pom today, so I'm only going to use 3 fingers on my hand. And I'm going to be wrapping the yarn around my fingers 40 times. That was the amount that I used to make this fluffy pom-pom. And as you can see, this is an unusual yarn, and I really like it because of that feature that it has, this sort of, I don't know, it even has a name on it. It's called Haute Fur Snowflake. And I actually got this for free from a friend. So to make your pom-pom, it's quite simple. Let me make sure that I'm gonna scoot my chair out. so I can be sure you have a good look at this in case you have never seen anyone make a pom-pom before. And you take a piece, a long piece, to extend out over your fingers. I'm gonna turn my camera down a bit. Maybe you can see that a little bit better. So I have a piece hanging, that's the end, and I'm gonna keep my fingers slightly apart just so that I can be able to get it off my fingers. So let's start wrapping 40 times. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and cut off a length here. So we have our two ends are showing right here. And then I'm going to cut another piece. This is going to be the piece that is going to tie this pom-pom together. Set it aside here, and I'm going to lay out this bunch of yarn in the center, approximately, of this pom-pom that I'm making. And you can just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I'm going to scoot it up here a bit. It's kind of small to see, but basically I'm just going to tie a knot here in the center of this bunch of yarn, I guess you would call it. This is such a simple thing to do normally, but because I'm using this very unusual yarn, this furry kind of yarn, I'm putting a finger there, and I'm going to bring this yarn around. I want to tie it as tight as I can. I've got my finger there holding it, and then I'm gonna go here and just pull it tight as I can get it. I'm gonna do a triple knot to ensure that it doesn't come undone. This is kind of a slippery yarn. Now, if you were doing this with a traditional yarn, it would be way easier than what I have put together here. The next step that you do is you take your scissor, a sharp scissor, and you just run it through the loops on one side and cut through them. And then we'll go to the other side of this bundle and push my scissor through, pull it, and then cut. And then the next step is, these are my two ends, and I want a nice long end because I may want to attach this, well, who knows where, or maybe I want it to be hanging. So make sure you give yourself plenty when you're tying your pom-pom together. Now, what I'm doing is just sort of fluffing it out. And because I'm using this unusual yarn, I have quite a bit of fallout here. It's a little bit messy. This wouldn't happen if you were using just regular plain old yarn. I'm going to trim these two ends off now, so they're about the same length as the rest of my pom-pom. And you'll see it looks a little bit uneven. I've got some stray ends sticking out. So as you're fluffing, you can just go around with your scissors and trim it off so it makes a fairly symmetrical round pom-pom. And just look at it from different angles and just give it a little hair trim. And in the end, you'll have a delightful, darling little pom-pom to use for your decorations, however you would like to. And you see any more of those little stray ends hanging around, just trim them off as you're going. They're quite easy to do. Fluff it up some more, maybe trim a few more off. Isn't that simple? I'm telling you, I just was amazed at how easy this was. And you don't have to, like I said, buy any gadgets to make a pom-pom. You just use your hand. Guys, I have started adding the letters of my sentiment to my new winter sign. However, I wanted to share with you a special tool that I use, and I got this idea and learned about it in my scrapbooking projects. But this is a ruler made by EK Tools, letter E, letter K Tools, and it's a very bendable ruler, and it's also very, very thin. Look at how thin it is. And what is amazing about it is that it measures, but it also has measuring from 0 in the center, and it goes on one side, centimeters, 1, 2, 3, 4, one way and the other way. And what this does is allows you to center lines of sticker letters and make them be evenly spaced and so on when you're working on a project and you want to put a sentiment on a scrapbook page. So that's fantastic for scrapbooking, but as you know, I'm using these little white letters and I want them to be placed on my page perfectly. So I will show you how I do that. It's a really cool trick. You just lay your ruler down and you take your letters, and my word that is going to be on the last line of my winter sign is the word spring. And spring has S-P-R-I-N-G, 6 letters. And so I am going to lay my letters down here starting on the 0, and I'm going to lay the 2 middle letters in spring. And so I'm going to take an R off my sheet here and pop out the center. And I'm going to go ahead and place it just to the right of the 0 here. It's a little hard for you to see, but please watch. I am only attaching it. Let me show you. I'm only attaching the very bottom of the letter to the ruler, just maybe 1/8 of an inch or less, just like that, onto my ruler, and it's sticking on there. Okay, and then I'm going to go the other direction, or work with the I. Do I have another I here? Yeah. And I'm going to space it next to the R. I'm trying to space them evenly, and I try to attach them about the same amount on my ruler. See, there's just R and I. And I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the word really quickly here. You can watch. And here you can see how I have attached the entire word onto my ruler. Now let's go ahead and place it actually on the board. I'm sorry this is going to look upside down to you, but I simply put my word down with the ruler. I space it so it looks even. Sorry, I want to stand up to do this so that it is very much perfect in spacing, and I can see that better when I'm standing. So I'm going to go ahead and just push down my letters to attach them to my sign. And then watch, I'm going to lift up my ruler kind of from the other side and release the bottoms of the letters from the ruler. And then I'm pressing down the letters, all of them. And I want to really press them down well so they adhered to my sign. Nice. And perfectly. And there I have my word done, and it's straight. It's not all wonky, you know, up and down like a going up and down a mountain or something. So guys, remember this yarn that I've been using to make the pom-poms? I also took that same yarn and placed it around the top and the bottom of my sign. And what I did is I just attached it on the back with my hot glue gun and wrapped it around in kind of a, I don't know, sort of a random way, and added that little dazzle, I guess you might call it, to my sign. But I also am going to be adding my pom-poms now. And I just wanted to show you that I have my 2 pom-poms and I have my little strings that are attached that I can use to hang them with. Aren't they cute? I'm gonna put the larger pom-pom, I'm gonna hot glue it on this, and I'm gonna let it hang down over here on, let's see if I can get it in frame here for you. I'm gonna let it hang down, and then I'm going to attach the other one. I'm just going to use hot glue on the back for that final look that I'm going for this winter sign. All right, guys, are you ready for the final reveal? Well, let me just tip up my sign right here for you to see. Look at my sentiment. Isn't it just perfect for January? Silver white winters that melt into spring. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and you will be seeing this sign in my home tour that will be coming up in January. I'm not exactly sure the date yet, but I want to invite you back to see my home tour so you can get more inspiration about making your home a cozy and happy place in these dark days of winter. Hope to see you again soon. So long.